Amid the ongoing economic and political turmoil, Sri Lanka has extended its state of emergency for a month. The Sri Lankan parliament approved the extension on Wednesday to get a grip on the island nation's worst economic crisis in 7 decades. The erstwhile acting president Ranil Wickremesinghe had declared a state of emergency on the 17th of July. It allows for the military to be given powers to detain people, limit public gatherings and search private property. The latest extension means the special powers given to the military would continue to exist at least for a month. The island nation of 22 million people is reeling under an ongoing economic crisis for months now. There is a severe shortage of fuel, food and other basic necessities. The situation soon spiraled into a political crisis, with thousands of protesters taking to the streets demanding immediate ouster of the Rajapaksas from all seats of power. They primarily blamed former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa for leading the country into this mess. Widespread demonstrations that continued for over 100 days led to Rajapaksa finally abdicating the throne. The protests culminated into large crowds swarming into the official presidential residence, forcing Gotabaya to flee and eventually seek refuge in Singapore. The protests have largely fizzled out since then. It was reported on Wednesday that the Gotabaya Rajapaksa has now been granted permission to stay for 14 more days in Singapore. Sadly, the ouster of the Rajapaksas did not bring any immediate relief to the people. Foreign reserves are still dried up, and the country struggles to pay for imports of basic goods. Fuel shortages are still rampant. Fuel rationing plans of the government have brought little relief for the people. The South Asian nation has requested for an IMF rescue plan after it defaulted on a bond payment debt early this year. An extended fund facility program from the IMF, which would be the fund's 17th plan for the nation, requires countries to make structural economic reforms. The current president, Ranil Wickremesinghe, said that he also outlined plans to have a donor conference involving India, China and Japan once Sri Lanka secures a rescue line from the IMF. Many countries have come up for Sri Lanka's help in recent months. India has extended around $4 billion in aid to the country since the crisis started. Australia, Japan and the US have also announced assistance for Sri Lanka. However, one of the biggest lenders to Sri Lanka seems absent from the picture as of now. The IMF said on Wednesday that Sri Lanka should kick off debt restructuring talks with its biggest bilateral lender, China. Reports say Sri Lanka owes Beijing some $6.5 billion in financing, including development bank loans and a central bank swap. The world's second largest economy has invested in projects like highways, a port, an airport and a coal power plant. But critics charged the funds were used for white elephant projects with low returns, which Beijing continues to deny. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.